Hi, my name is Dave Marroquin. I'm a filmmaker here at Santa Fe Film Festival. Today in this episode, we're going to talk about cinematography. We're going to talk about doubts as a filmmaker, pushing through those doubts. We're going to talk about my particular journey as from cop to filmmaker, and hope you stay tuned and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Johnson, and on this episode of Breaking Indie, we're going to teach you how to march in the streets and get your rights back and be true artists and don't take no for an answer. And you're going to see my film, The Addiction of Hope. But March, we got to take over. We have to take over. Arts will save the world.
And hi, I am Marty Gray Gottlieb, and in this episode of Breaking Indie, we're going to discuss Dark Hope with Brendan, as opposed to The Addiction of Hope, which is our film. And you'll get to see what true light is like.
These guys are good. Another episode coming at you. Roll the tape.
It's a program for filmmakers by filmmakers. It's the Breaking Indie podcast.
How's my hair?
Perfect. Turn around, I'll tell you.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Breaking Indie. This is going to be a two-part episode. With us today, we have the talent, both behind the camera and in front of the camera. And then the second part of this, we're going to have the cinematographer and I guess he's a one-man crew member today. But with us is Anne-Marie and Marty. And you guys you are the writer.
Yes.
I'm the writer.
Both producers.
Yes.
Both actors.
Yes.
And you guys got it all. And the film is the name of the film, I'm sorry.
The Addiction of Hope.
The Addiction of Hope.
The Addiction of Hope.
The Addiction of Hope. I'm addicted to coffee because it's early and I had a late night. So it goes with these film festivals.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Is this a feature film, short film?
Feature.
Okay.
Feature film. Yeah.
Feature film, narrative,
Narrative.
and
Independent.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it as optimistic as the title promises?
believe it or not, it is a very hopeful film.
With a lot of trials and tribulations. So
Right.
it's not it's not sugar-coated at all, but people feel uplifted once they watch the whole film.
Okay.
It ends with hope.
Yes.
Well, I like that.
Yeah.
So Marty, tell me, how did this kind of the idea kind of foster for you or come to be?
Yeah, sure. The time of life that we're in, certainly at my age, I won't say anything regarding you.
Such a gentleman.
We've been in the business long enough, 40 years plus, and so many of our friends and us are really experiencing this sense that at a certain age, the world is kind of done with you. They think you're finished. And the more we looked around and felt a little bit invisible, it seemed like an opportunity to explore that whole concept. So that was the kernel of the idea. And then it was just figuring out a way to deliver an exploration of that idea within a full circle story.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a generation of films or screenplays that were written in the midst of the pandemic.
Yes.
With a different point of view, a very serious point of view. We were isolating. We had ample opportunity to think and reflect and change our lives and not just be satisfied with the status quo and say, hey, listen, I don't think I have to do this job any longer. I think I can create something else. And so this film also has a sense of that because it came out of that.
Yeah. I also think that's great because I, for one, wrote something that wasn't feeling very hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great that yours ends with hope because mine was very the world is fucked.
Because it felt like
Because
it.
that's what it felt like,
Yeah,
right?
it felt like it.
Yes,
Right.
I
But
came out of there
also you're
with
an actor and you know that everything is based on how people perceive us, right? And so although for men it's very different, men don't have a saturation date as actors, people in front of the camera. women do, and it's not self-imposed. It is done by the industry. So we thought that this was a perfect arena to use to tell the story about what do you do when you hit the crossroads of your life? Do you move forward or do you stay behind? What do you do?
Yeah.
And Joe, our main character, goes through the trials and tribulations of that.
Yeah, it's important to know, to think about, are the choices that you're making or have made working for you still at this point in your life? And that's at any age, really. If you're 20 and you've made a choice to go down some road and now you're 25 and it's not working,
And actors, we stick at it.
are you okay
Well,
with
yeah, I think for any artist, that's a great reminder.
Yes.
You know, and at any age, you know, it's just part of development, and we get
Absolutely.
stuck in our ways.
Yeah.
And we have to constantly kind of check
Evolve.
in and evolve. Yeah.
And reinvent ourselves.
What a great reminder, gang, for all the people out there. Is what you're doing, does it work for you?
And it's also
Does
about,
it serve you?
and it's not just about
Exactly.
you. How does it impact the people who orbit? How does it impact your family? And there's also a family dynamic storyline in our film, which is very moving. So your life impacts other people's lives, right? And so this is the journey that Joe goes through.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is this about an artist or an actor, or is it just about
It's
kind
general.
of okay.
I mean, it is Joe as the actor in the film who's exploring choices that she's made.
But she represents
As representative, yeah.
Yeah, she represents a lot of, specifically women. She represents a lot of women who have been made to feel marginalized and disenfranchised because we're no longer viable.
And there's another layer in this too, which is ethnicity and race, because not only is Joe a certain age, but as an African American woman, there's a whole nother layer that goes into acceptance, acceptance by the industry.
Sure.
And
Do you play Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
I
guess
am.
I
I'm
guess I
sorry,
didn't realize.
I played
You started
Joe.
talking about it, and at first I thought Joe was like a male, and then I was like, oh, Joe's the female. And then
Joanne is
I'm
Joanne.
slowly starting to realize
Yeah.
that you were Joe.
right,
Okay.
Joe is Joanne.
I am
Joanne,
Joe.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
And
Anne Marie is Joe.
Yeah.
Joe is
we're-
Anne Marie.
And we're actually a couple. We're married.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I've had so many power couples in over
Yeah.
the last 2 days
Yeah.
who are like here together with a film that they did together. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous and lonely. But no, I'm just
Don't
kidding.
be. Don't
I'm
be,
not
don't
jealous
be.
at all. I'm just lonely.
Right.
No. But that's awesome.
So have
did-
friends. We're here for
Yeah,
you.
we're
Oh,
here.
thank God.
We could talk it through.
Yeah, as my soul is as empty as this garage.
Well, that's another story.
No. I could use some hope. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Brendan,
great.
you're going
Yeah.
down.
So we've been together for quite a while.
Cool. All right, but I want to get back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
The element of exclusion. I recently moved back out of LA, but like while I was there, it was kind of like at the height of let's have more voices and we need to die. And for the record, I guess this is probably worth noting. Emery, you were the former VP.
I was
of
the
SAG?
yes. I was the former vice president of the Screen Actors Guild, and I served, I think, for 4 terms. And I'm still currently on the board, but I'm no longer an officer. I'm a board member.
Which is no small accomplishment, for the record. That's pretty amazing. So thank
And
you.
I was actually the
I would-
first African American vice president of the union.
Holy cow!
So-
I'd love to come back to that.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to say there is like my old roommate is black and had a really discouraging time because it went
Yeah.
from feeling like okay this is a good thing to all of a sudden it's like oh we got the guy to check the box
Exactly.
and he became a stereotype of what you
There
needed
you have it.
to be diverse and then like it was almost like a sense from kind of the way he described it to me of like I don't know if reverse racism really is just whatever that means, but like it was like, well, let's try to make everyone included. So now it's like, and then by doing that, it also just felt like all you're still seeing is the race.
It's not organic.
You're not.
Our
yeah,
industry
it's
does not know how to do it organically.
Yeah, it is all like it's not
it's
that I'm just a
fake.
person.
I gotta
It's
say,
fake.
like, just
Yeah.
on this point, that one of the points of the story here
Is that
Joe, her character, happens to be an African American woman. In the story, this, for the exception of a couple of highlights, this is a human story.
Yeah.
It's not a story about
Joe being African American, she just happens to be
there are
African
moments
American.
that highlight that, but it is not the story. And as you were talking about, this was not done to check a box.
No.
Right.
This was a story, and it happens to be an African American woman.
And it happens to be a very diverse cast only because that's our life.
Yeah.
So the actors that you see in the film, Clancy Brown, Sherry Belafonte, Erica Alexander, Matthew Moy, we have a very diverse cast, but because they're friends, not because, okay,
we got to check,
this.
and hit every demographic.
Right, this
and
is great.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
it's because of our lives
Yeah.
are very diverse.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by brwdigital.com, a video production company based in Santa Fe, servicing the needs of businesses and content creators worldwide. brwdigital.com.
And we're back after a word from our sponsor.
And I hope you like those very juicy and tasteful sponsorship ads, which nobody paid me for. I just made them.
Those burgers were great.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so that also is another theme, but it's not overt.
Sure.
You get it. The minute you're watching it, you get it.
So I'd like to go back to talking a little bit about your role at SAG.
Sure.
So as a actor and someone who has their SAG card, thank you, first of all, pro-union, even though I'm often hiring non-union and SAG actors. But
you can, because
that's the great thing I
yeah.
wanted to say is SAG has done a great job of accommodating the needs and evolving with the industry. Their micro agreements, their micro budget agreements, the low budget, all the different tiers.
all
of
the different budgets
agreements,
we have, yes.
I know comes with a lot of negotiations and a lot of work. And obviously, with all the various strikes that have happened, the industry has been a hard roller coaster to navigate.
It has, and not everyone understands what unionism means. Back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, 57% of the American population worked under a union contract, whether it be private sector or public sector. Now it's fewer than 11%. So the whole idea of union and what it means and the protections that unions provide are just becoming fewer and far between. So the Screen Actors Guild, now it's SAG-AFTRA, but I'll still always refer to it as the Screen Actors Guild. I started my SAG union participation as an elected in 1995. So that's how long I've been part of the elected part of the union.
Wow.
And we have done a lot of work creating contracts that are flexible for our members, not necessarily for our employers, but we want to encourage our members to work and to work under a union contract, even though it's not legally obligatory, right? We have right to work states, and we have, you can't be prohibited from work if you're not in a union. We just encourage members, actors who at a certain time of their career should think about joining a union, because you get health coverage and you get a retirement plan and you get protections if you're working in wages on the set and other aspects of what it is to be a union.
But isn't there such thing as a must join? Can you clarify that for me?
There is a must join. A must join means that a non-member, an actor, has worked on a project that is a SAG signatory project, right? So let's say you did a Taco Bell commercial, right?
And this, for the record, this is of a certain caliber. Like, you can have the micro budget agreements, but just because you act on something that allows SAG actors doesn't make you SAG eligible for the reference.
Correct. So let's say it's a SAG signatory under any of our contracts, but it's a SAG signatory. That production company is now a partner of the Screen Actors Guild, and they want... So you can work once under a SAG contract, but not be a SAG member, right?
Sure.
Background, feature, speaking role, non-speaking role. Your next SAG job makes you SAG eligible, which means you're a must join, which means that unless you're Taft-Hartley, which we're not going to get into, but that next SAG signatory job, you then are required but qualified to join the union, which means you pay an initiation fee and you are a union member, which means every dollar from that point on that you make under a SAG contract is a dues required job. You pay dues, but you also qualify for health care, and your pension begins. That's when your pension cycle begins.
It's the only pension I got. That's great. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always encourage young actors, don't be in a hurry to join the union. You need to, it's not as if we're plumbers, you know.
Yeah.
We are artists and we have to find our groove. What type of artist do we want to be? Do we just want to do commercials? Do we just want to be a background performer? Do we just want to do sitcoms? Do we just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to, independent films, do you just want to
There's like a certain, kind of like what you said, at a certain time in your career when it feels more
Yes.
appropriate. And, you know, for me, I
And if you
joined
can afford
as
it.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I joined as a New Mexico local, which the cost for dues is about half. And then I
Right.
moved to LA and I did one union job there. And it was like, okay, now you have to pay another $3,000.
That's
to make that
correct.
Right.
difference. And
You
it's
have
like,
to make up the
okay,
difference. Yeah.
Like,
You know,
yeah.
I think one of the things that you're referencing is, like plumbers, there's, at least there used to be, an apprenticeship. And you learned your craft, how to, you know, weld a joint or whatever it might be in the plumbing field.
well, that's good because in college it was how to roll a joint.
Well,
So, weld a joint's a
yes,
little
it was.
bit more important.
And when I was in college, they didn't even bother with papering. But as an actor, yeah, if you're not in the union initially when you're young and starting out and apprenticing,
Yeah.
you're getting a sense of, like Anne-Marie said, whether it's comedy, drama, you're getting a sense of who you are and what works best for you. Oh, I like comedy. I think I'm really good at that.
Yeah,
Then it feels good to me. I'm going to do that.
Don't be in such a hurry to join because it is a financial obligation and it stops you. You are prohibited from working on projects that aren't covered.
Yeah,
in
and that
Screen
narrows the
Actors Guild.
funnel
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it certainly can.
Yeah.
It certainly can. But that's also, again, why it's great as a indie producer. They have agreements where you can have SAG actors at a micro level,
Sure.
you know, and it doesn't prohibit you from having good talent as long as that talent.
you can have
is
a micro budget
okay with,
project
you know, what
or
you're
a
doing.
deferred payment project. You don't even have to pay the actor because it's deferred payment unless the project is purchased and then the actor is paid. You can, some of our micro budgeted streaming projects, derivative streaming projects, you pay the actor a minimum wage of that particular state. So that's how flexible our contracts are.
And it's very achievable to apply for. I did it while I was having my morning coffee.
There
It
you
was
go.
like, and boom, and they filed back and they said, here's your letter of approval.
Exactly.
And it was great.
Right.
So,
We did ours because ours is a SAG feature budget and under the low budget contracts, but it's still a feature budget. So the paperwork is a lot more difficult.
so nice to have her.
It was, yeah.
That was one thing I didn't need to worry about.
But we were one of the first to sign the interim agreement. So we started our production during the strike because we signed the interim agreement.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And
yeah.
that was a big deal.
It was
And
a
then
big deal.
And it also made so many actors who were just wanting to work
Able to
Yeah.
work, they
Yeah.
were available.
saying,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to.
Awesome.
So it was interesting.
Well, where would be a good place, like a social media handle for those who are listening to follow along with the journey of your
Okay,
film?
so you realize you're talking to somebody who's like 100 years old. But aside from that, no, we are on Instagram, which we're happy to say at The Addiction of Hope is the handle.
Okay.
And there's also TAOH as well at Instagram. I don't know the technical
Sure.
thing, but
Handle.
if you search Instagram for The Addiction of Hope,
We'll
you'll
link it
find
below, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
You
We'll
know,
tell you off camera and you'll
Yeah.
be able to.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
but
sounds
hopefully you'll
good.
be able to find it there.
Cool.
We're getting our feet wet with social media, which is a necessary thing you have to do these days.
Yep.
So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for also everything that you've done with SAG and also being a pioneer.
Yeah.
And multiple assets, what I mean by that. But like multiple facets of that. And yeah, thank you both. And I hope that your film gets a very warm reception.
We hope
a
so
very
too.
hopeful reception.
Right.
Hopefully it's a good reception.
yeah, come see it.
Come see it.
We have hope, and you have dark hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Speaking of darkness, I'd also like to get into the light and dark of the cinematography about this.
Perfect.
And stay tuned because we're going to be talking to the cinematographer of this project. So we'll see you cats later.
Yes, you will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
This episode is sponsored in part by Santa Fe Improv, an educational nonprofit based locally here in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yes, and
Santa Fe Improv has classes for adults and at their Black Box Theater, educating players at all levels of the craft of comedy improv.
yes,
And they put on shows regularly that you don't want to miss. So visit santafeimprov.org to get the latest updates on shows, classes, and community events.
yes.
santafeimprov.org.
With us. All right, guys. Hi. 3. I hurt my neck doing that. Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of this episode. With us now is David Marroquin. Fancy name for a fancy man. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. How you doing?
David,
Thanks for having me.
You are the cinematographer of The Addiction to Hope.
Yep. And I edited the film as well.
You did edit it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So, and outside of that, you also produce, and you're kind of an all-in-one filmmaker, it sounds like.
Yes. Full transparency. I'm also I'm an LAPD officer.
Okay.
I've been an LAPD officer for like 18 years, but this is my passion, and
Oh, that's awesome.
this
I won't
is,
make drug jokes with you this time.
no, please do. I'm
okay,
like
okay.
I'm the furthest removed from law enforcement at this point in my
Cool.
life.
So, well, thanks for being a man in blue. I
thanks.
appreciate it. Are you you're an active officer?
Yes, though I'm not in a patrol car anymore. The last 9 years, so I've been on for 18. The last 9 has been at the police headquarters facility, editing videos for the department.
Really?
So it's kind of weird.
How did those kind of two worlds kind of come together?
So I had done a couple of music videos, and there was a sergeant who got wind of it. And then there was a time when there was an officer that had been deployed to Afghanistan who was injured by an IED, and they said, "Hey, can you make a video? We know you do videos." So I did a video from the department, like a get well video, and that snowballed into, we needed, for transparency's sake, videos to put out into the world, and they needed an editor to compile the footage, and that's what I've been doing. So
Cool. And then how did you kind of learn the craft of camera work?
I've had a camera in my hand since I was about 6, 7. I've went through a few iterations of cameras at home. Not, my parents were very upset about that, but it's always been an organic thing. I've been, my father's a huge film buff, film aficionado, and introduced me to some of the greats. So I've sort of been a student of film my whole life, and I've had vivid dreams about cinematography and camera movement all my life. So I feel at home when I've got a camera in my hands.
Cool. I can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate. So how did they end up finding you to shoot this film? The Addiction of
So
Hope?
Anne-Marie and I co-directed some PSAs for the police department.
Oh,
And I met her that way. Her father was a retired LAPD sergeant. And so she was, grew up close to the department in that way. And so naturally, because I was sort of the resident video filmmaker guy in the department, when we needed some PSAs done, they pulled me in, and that's how I met Anne-Marie. We developed a friendship, and I met Marty and Anne-Marie, or I met Marty, her husband, through that friendship. So
Okay, cool. So let's talk about some of your kind of creative process with this project. Some of maybe the challenges that you had to face or overcome. Can we just kind of like talk about what this particular film was like for you to shoot?
yeah, a lot of I'm a huge Michael Mann
Yeah.
fan, And
I love the kinetic energy.
the kinetic
of this
energy,
film. Like
handheld.
You're just like, oh,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And and you probably understand this, when you're trying to find a shot and you find it and you're like, you're reveling in that frame. I love handheld.
Mhm.
And early on, Marty and I talked about the pacing of this film, and this film really called for sticks. Put the camera on a tripod and don't touch it. Finding it and that's it. And that was kind of a challenge for me as a cinematographer. It was a good challenge because I was watching a film earlier today that I also was one of the DPs on. Interestingly enough, on Gaijin.
Oh, you helped with that.
Yeah, I was a DP on that, one of the 3 DPs.
Oh, cool.
And there's a lot of that kinetic energy that we talk about, and a little bit of it, I was like, oh man, this is maybe a little too kinetic. And,
I talked to Mark yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe I don't know how to. I shouldn't edit that in.
How to
with
bridge.
this. I don't know what the timeline is on these videos, but his brother wasn't in town yet, so I'm hoping to interview both Mark
they're
and
both
Michael
here.
together.
Yeah.
So, but wow, so you have 2 films in the festival.
Yes,
That's
yes.
pretty sweet.
It's really kind of bizarre. But so some of the challenges were, also the budget that we had. We are a SAG low budget film, and so we had limitations. We didn't have a full studio behind us. We didn't have tens of millions of dollars. We didn't have $6 million, and so the limitations, I think, create creative opportunities of how to figure out how you're going to shoot certain things. And so that in and of itself was kind of a challenge. But I think once we got into the pacing of, understanding that for this particular film, the cinematography really called for stillness. I think there are a couple of moments that were really that necessitated handheld because of what was happening with the character.
Okay.
I
want to step out of this garage and into your mind.
Yeah.
What does that mean when you say it called for stillness? Like, there's a certain thing that not everybody might not translate for everybody when they read a script. Like, this calls for sticks, which means a tripod for those who don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how that kind of became evident to you.
Well, you talk about when you're going through the script, you as a cinematographer, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to frame this film, how you're going to shoot it. Certainly the camera is another character, another important element of how the film is told, whether it's a Steadicam shot, you're pushing in, you're coming out, it's handheld. And so taking those tools into consideration of how you're going to help better tell the story, in this case, in this story, the character of Anne-Marie, played by, the character of Joanne Stock, played by Anne-Marie Johnson, is in a place in her life where she's very stagnant. And there's a lot of sitting around and processing. And so it just made sense that the camera's contribution would match that. You talk about actors who are performing with one another. For things to be real, authentic, they have to match each other emotionally and how they talk. And similarly, it happens with camera work, right? You have to match what is happening. And if there's a moment in the film where her character is going, she starts to become a little more agitated and she has a decision that's upcoming. And so she's a bit rattled, and that, we switched to handheld for that. There's a couple little moments of handheld that made sense. And so it to kind of explain that the camera work has to, I think, match the emotional
tonality.
Yeah. Of the film, of the character. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, is this, well, obviously not, because no, it's not obvious. Is this your first feature film that you've shot?
This is my first feature that I've been the sole director of photography on.
Okay.
There have been other films like Gaijin that I was one of 3. So yeah, this is my first feature.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What were some of the challenges about
going from doing shorts or smaller projects to shooting a feature?
I think one of the biggest challenges, and I think perhaps it's the same for filmmakers of all that spans the gamut, whether you're a professional working, whether you're Roger Deakins, Hoyte van Hoytema, or straight out of film school. There's this, and certainly for me, this being my first feature, one of the challenges is being able to be comfortable in that role of I'm a director of a department, because there is a little bit of an imposter syndrome. I listened to an interview with Roger Deakins talking about, even a few films ago where he was like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
How do I figure this out? And I don't want to let on that I might not know what I'm doing. And you go, well, you've got all this experience, but so a lot of the, some of the challenge, I think that was the question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also one of the unique things about what we do is, it doesn't matter if you're Roger Deakins and you have all this gambit of talent and experience. Every shot is different. Every location is different. Every setup is different. And even if you were shooting the same thing twice, it may be, okay, well, this is going to be more dramatic, or this is more comedy, and the lighting is different, or, the color scheme is different. The camera is different. The lenses are different. So it's kind of like every time you step into something, it's nice to have experience, but it's also like, wow, this is the first time I'm doing this in a way, So yeah, I totally can relate. And I think it's always comforting when you hear people like Roger Deakins be like, if you're not nervous the first day and you don't feel like I've never done this before, and you're freaking out a little bit in your head, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
That is comforting to hear
Absolutely.
that.
And to that point, I think a lot of it, you realize how collaborative this industry is, that everybody is carrying one another. I mean, you certainly have to bring your skill set, they say, and I'm probably going to butcher the saying, but it's like success is preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
And so you have to prepare, you have to know what you're doing.
That said, Roger Deakins also knows how many C-stands he's going to need like a month out for the shot. Because I did a little bit of work on True Grit, and their lighting, they had I think it was 15, 16 Ks all the way down, this lighting a hillside.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy shit. That's a lot of big lights, buddy.
Yeah.
But it's in prep, he'll know months out, okay, cool. For that setup, I'm going to need 15 junior stands. We're going to need all the support for each of those. And all of a sudden, he puts his package together, and it's he knows, he does his prep.
Yeah. And it's that preparation, right? It's he laid it out on some sheet and was like, this is what we're going to need. What's the intensity of light that I'm going to need? And therefore I'm going to need 15, 16 Ks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's all that preparation. But, again, it's certainly, you rely heavily on one another in this collaborative process. There were so many times that, perhaps the lighting wasn't what, in retrospect, I would have brought to a location. It's what we had ultimately. And at the end of the day, you're relying on those performances. And if the story is a good story, if the performances are great, and I hate to say this, but I would tell the sound guy, you're the most person guy here, because if the sound is crap, then audiences are forgiving of visuals.
Sure.
Very forgiving.
Okay, I would love to have the time and the resources to do a beautiful lighting design in this room.
Yeah.
We have 1 hour to shoot it.
Yeah.
So that's out the window.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, well, the audience isn't going to know what I would have wanted to do, but the focus is close enough, and you can still see their eyes.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But if it sounds all staticky, they'll turn it off immediately.
Yeah. They'll go, what's happening?
Yeah.
And so, there were so many times on this film where, not so many times, but there were several times on this film where, the lighting wasn't perhaps what I was like, my key light should have been over here. My hair light or maybe it should have been darker. I didn't shoot from the shade side, from the shadow side, which is a little more cinematic.
Sure. I'm not doing that either. I have this light. No, it should be over here, but the camera's facing this way, so I'd have to be high. Just don't have time, guys. Don't have time.
It's hilarious. But you know, there's so many times that Marty, the director, would yell cut, and I mean, I was crying. I was gotta, you know,
Wow.
hit the stop button. And so, you know, it's to that point that
Crying because you did such a good job, or because
the performances were so amazing.
He's like, that was
what a
best
beautifully
camera work I've ever fucking done.
what a beautifully lit scene.
I
So
would
you know,
love to see that. I would love to see a DP who's like, my shot is just so fucking beautiful. You're like, you're a cop, right? Shut up.
you're
But
very
yeah,
emotional
no,
for being a cop.
That's great. And also, I'm sure that Anne Marie is a great actress. I would love to see this film.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have to.
Did I hear that you have a cameo in
I
it?
do. I have a little bit of a cameo.
Tell me about this.
in the film. And you know, I joke about this, but I was trying to pass it off. I was an actor before all of this. I studied in London at the Royal Academy, and
No,
so
holy cow.
I'm trained in that, but that was like 20 years ago, and I do like. I think like most people in this industry, you know, there's a little bit of ego. There's a little bit of like, yeah, turn the cameras toward me. That's cool. I'm so removed from that now. And so I was trying to pass it off. I was like, I don't really. And then even after we shot it, I told Marty, we can cut this scene, right? Like, we don't need this in the film. And as the editor, there were a couple of times I said we were trying to shave time and, you know, what is really moving the story forward and what isn't, get rid of that. And he said, no, we're not cutting the scene, David. But it was, you know, getting in front of the camera and having other folks behind the camera, letting go of that control was an exercise. And I was just, you know, getting to play in the sandbox for just a minute with Anne Marie, who's just an enormous talent, was just a lot of fun. So.
On my last project, I told my DP, I was like, hey, we need the shot. There's no other actors. I need you to do it. And he's like, no. I was like, no, please. And he's like, the lighting doesn't work. It sucks. It's not going to work. This looks ridiculous. And he was right. It wasn't, we didn't use it, but I just wanted to make him uncomfortable for fun.
Yeah.
Because he's been great. And I was like, cool. I just want to razz him a little bit, like get on camera. And he's just like, I hate everything about this.
Those are the great
like,
moments where you're not comfortable and you're a little like.
I think those are also, the best performances because they're not trying to like be like, wow, I'm so perfect. They're like, I don't want to be here. And you're like, and that's why I love it. But yeah, well, cool. What is your character in the camera?
He is a friend of the son of the sister. He's just a guy in the background who's helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun.
So my daughter has a little cameo in it as well, and
Awesome.
I was going to say something about working with Anne Marie and Marty, but it eludes me now.
Don't worry, they didn't talk about you at all. They were like, please don't include him. And no, I'm kidding. They loved you. It was great.
Yeah, it's been such a great collaboration.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that we got to have you guys both in here so we can pair this episode together.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wow. All right. So we've gotten the handle on Instagram for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to plug anything of your own while we're here?
No, you know, just the one thing that I'll say as, you know, potential filmmakers are watching this or fans of film is that, you know, we were told so many times, you can't do it for this amount of money. We had a 5-hour Zoom call with the line producer and was like, you need this, you know, this is not going to work. And my, I think the most important message of all this is just go out and pursue the passions, the projects that you want to do. And, you know, like it'll all come together. It's so important to get your voice out of the world. So if you're a filmmaker, get out there and get it done. It's a lot of people are going to say no. There's going to be a lot of naysayers, and it one of the great things about doing something and finishing it is to be able to turn to those people and say, hey, I did it. So
that's a great point. And I think, and myself included, you create a lot of mental roadblocks. Saying, well, I need more money, or I need to do this.
I need this camera. I need these lenses.
And at some point, if you just kind of shift and say, I'm doing this, and you just charge ahead, and it's, okay, well, problems come up. How do we resolve it? You get something done. And I think it's a lot easier to just live with those mental roadblocks and
years go by and you don't do anything. So yeah, that's a great reminder. Thank you, David.
Yeah, but no official plug. I've got a couple projects that I'm potentially working on, but nothing that should be.
And
plugged at
they'll
this point.
all be here at the Santa Fe Film
Yeah,
Festival.
they'll all coalesce here, and it'll be here. It'll be a festival, darling.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for this episode. Please do all those things that we always talk about, because you haven't done them yet, have you? So do it. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, or whatever. It just helps us a lot to get the word out there, and it encourages me to keep putting these together. So thank you for tuning in. Love you all, and go out there and create some magic. It's a program for filmmakers by filmmakers. It's the Breaking Indie Podcast.